Okay, YouTube is saying that we are live. We are live, and let me see if I can find it here on my trusty iPad. About a minute or so early. Inside of a minute early. Let's see who's in the house. And Tom's in the house. Stig's in the house. Tom was first. And let's see here, and that's it. Okay, so we are live. And this is a special emergency broadcast on Sunday, September 6th. Sunday, September 6th, 2020. 2020, that's where we are. And so, and I've got Brianna's bug in the upper right-hand corner, brieffitdance.com, brieffitdance.com. I think I have a link to her website in the description. I know I have a link to littletreasury.com. That's where I got that 002 stunner. The 002 stunner is on the bench today. On the bench, solid 18 karat gold with an HD strap, an aftermarket HD strap from hdstraps.com. hdstraps.com. And then the 231 stunner is on wrist. On wrist, I thought that would be appropriate since we're going to be talking about dive watches today. Dive watches today. Lance is in the house. Okay. Lance, I had a challenge for you the other day, but you weren't here, so I couldn't issue it. But the challenge was to try to find a pair of Lucchese ostrich boots, ladies' boots, ostrich, that are full ostrich, that are ostrich on the bottom part and the shaft going up the boot. That also all ostrich. They are very rare and very hard to find. We were talking about a pair that I got for the lovely Brianna yesterday, and they seem to be very hard to find. I found a pair of men's Lucchese's for sale that meet that description. They're full quill ostrich on the bottom. I think that's called the vamp, the bottom, and then the top part, the shaft, is smooth ostrich without the quills on it, without the bumps from the quills, however you describe it. I think they call that full quill ostrich, which is what's on the bottom. So anyway, that was the challenge, but it's a little bit late. Hope you had a good golf game. Carlos is in the house. Okay, what we're going to talk about here is the Hulk. The Hulk. And there's a lot of talk of the prices going crazy. Here's AuthenticWatches.com, and they've got one for sale right now in stock, $24,995. $24,995. So there's a lot of talk with the new models that came out that the previous models are going to be so desirable and the prices are just going to skyrocket. And here's somebody taking a shot. Here's somebody trying to play that out, right? They're trying to hit a home run here. So what do you think? Is it time for those investors that are sitting on these watches, is it time to liquidate? Are we at the peak? Have we seen the max exuberance? Have we seen the peak? Is this the fully inflated bubble? What do you think, folks? $24,995 right now for sale, on sale right now. What do you think about that? Fisto Bozer's in here. He says, you're right. The Hulk is just sky high right now because of the discontinuation hype. It'll settle down. So is this the time to liquidate? Is this the time for a seller to take action? And here's the real question. The real question is, will they sell? I mean, you can put it up for sale at whatever price you want. And I've seen some around $20,000. This is probably the high end, $24,995 for our asking prices. And the key is, are they selling? I mean, you can ask whatever you want, right? Are they selling for anywhere near those kind of numbers? That's the big question. Stig's in the house. Carlos, good to hear that you're back safe and sound from the old world. And yes, they want to find idiots to buy these watches. Somebody's crying. He's laughing so hard he's crying. Let's see. Craig, I sent you a link to a full quill ostrich Lucchese boots. Okay, let's take a look. Let's see if the Lancer met the challenge. Let's see if he met the challenge. And these are women's. Let's see if he met the challenge. Okay, so here's the issue. Okay, here's the issue. All right. Oh, for crying out loud. I don't want any of that nonsense. Look, I hate all these pop-ups. Here's the issue. Okay, that is ostrich on the bottom part, the vamp, I guess they call that. But the top part is not ostrich. Okay, and I'll show you the difference. Let me go get Lady Brianna's boots. 1 second. Okay. See, now if this was easy, it wouldn't be a challenge, right? If this was easy, it wouldn't be a challenge. Okay, so if you look at this, if you look at the leather on the upper part here, this is what's called smooth ostrich. This is ostrich up here, this whole shaft, okay? And on the bottom, this is the full quill, all right? So a lot of boots have the full quill on the bottom, and these are $500, $525, that pair, right? That's common for them to be have the ostrich on the bottom. I think they call that the vamp, okay? But what's uncommon is for the entire shaft to also be ostrich. That's where you step up. And generally they are going to be the classics grade, the Lucchese classics, and they're a little bit dicey to find, a little bit hard to find. So there you go. Okay. Jaden's in the house. Settle down, then fall off the cliff when the economy has... Settle down, then fall off the cliff when the economy has the double dip. So Jaden seems to be chiming in saying, hey, maybe this is the time to liquidate. Maybe this is the time to sell some of these steel stunners that these people have in their collections. Is it the top? Is it the time to sell? I suggested on a post that that Der Stiefel put up. He put a post sharing a picture of his Submariner with a cocktail in the background or whatever, and I said, time to sell the top, right? Time to sell the top. So it's not just the Hulk, right? It's not just it's not just this model. It's also the black subs. Also the black subs that people are saying are going crazy and selling for super high prices. So is it the time to sell whatever sub you have? Is it the time to liquidate? What do you guys think? Is that crazy talk? Tom's in the house. If I had one, would sell. Could have had one and a Kermit at near list, but didn't like either. Would have made a few bucks if I did. There you go, Tom in the house. Scott's in the house. Craig, 2020 two-tone Datejust or 2020 Yachtmaster 37. You can't stretch to the Yachtmaster 40. Scott, what size wrist do you have? I would shoot for the Yachtmaster 40. I think that's a stunning watch. Absolutely full stop stunning. Remember, Yachtmaster 40, because of the bezel, the dial is about the same size as a 36 mil Datejust. Just to keep some perspective there, okay? Because that bezel takes up a fair amount of space. So if you can stretch to a 40 mil Yachtmaster, that would be my recommendation on that question. But a 37 mil, maybe, depending on the size of your wrist, maybe. That's a strong maybe. Fisco Bowser is in the house. But yeah, I like the Yachtmasters. Craig, I sent an email. Of course, the Datejust is no slouch. Craig has sent an email for a dive watch someone should upgrade to after flipping their Hulk. Okay, we'll take a look. Stig says, I just looked at Chrono 24 and eBay, and the average Hulk is for sale at 15 to 17K. There you go. Okay. And the question is, are they selling at those numbers? Hey, there's an old saying, if you can't sell it, raise the price, right? You jack the price up and maybe get somebody all fired up, and maybe they spend more money than they should, right? That's happened in the past. There's a lot of psychology in all of this, right? And okay, let's sell Hulk for now for $30K, buy one black for $13K in 6 months, buy one back for $13K in 6 months. Well, yeah, I haven't seen them as high as $30K. I think that might be a little bit too aggressive. But hey, if somebody can get it, my goodness, why not? Blue's in the house. Liquidate those steel junkers. Grand Seiko poops on Rolex, says Blue. G-Town, sell the Hulk and put the money toward 16613 two-tone sub. The lovely lady Bree's in the house. Bree, do you notice I got your bug up on the screen? Do you notice that? And let's see here. Okay, let's go and look at the email. Let's look at the email because time is moving by. This is one of the fastest pace shows on the internet. This is one of the fastest paced shows on the internet. All right, there you go. There's the suggestion. There's the suggestion for the watch to buy after you sell your Hulk. Go to a Grand Seiko dealer. That looks like that's a 231. That looks like that's a 231, which is basically the watch that's on my wrist right now. And that is a stunner. Full stunner alert on the channel. A full stunner alert on the channel. And Roger has I guess that's a super chat. I'm not real familiar with super chats. $4.99. Please tell my wife Maria Alivardo her husband Roger loves her. Well, my goodness, yes, absolutely, Roger. That is very good for you to be a very loving husband. Spoil your lovely wife. Absolutely, that's what men are supposed to do. Spoil the ladies. I think it's good that you care about her and you're taking care of her. Roger, that is fantastic. Jaden's in the house. What's what I own? That's what I own, Cheatown. There you go. I also love Maria Alvarado, says Fister Browser. Okay. Everybody loves Maria. Carlos is laughing out loud, and Tim says, sell the bulk, and buy the GS two-tone with gold spring drive GMT. Okay. Let's see. Tim retracted a message. Okay. There you go. What do you think? Maybe I should send some more Bitcoin to Lady Brianna. Lady Bree, let us know in the chat. Should I send you some Bitcoin? What do you think? What do you think, folks? By the way, Bitcoin has been hovering around 10,000, around the 10,000 level. Folks are speculating as to whether or not it's going to pull back further before taking off again. And you never know with Bitcoin. It's a fool's game to try to guess day to day what Bitcoin's going to do, even week to week, even to some extent month to month. It's best to just let it go and let it do its thing long term. That's usually the way that you got to do on that whole thing. Let's see. Cheatown says everyone here says they love her, but will they pay for the privilege of saying so? Oh, hey, that's right. Will they step up like Roger did? That's right. Roger stepped up. Let's see. Bowser, did you go to Try's wedding? Okay. That's a question. And I can't get this to reload. I can't get my Coinbase to reload. Let me do a check on the phone here. I'll give you a current market price on Bitcoin here on the phone. $10,279. $10,279 as we speak. So Bitcoin is pretty much following the same pattern that it did after the 2016 halving. The 2016 halving, it had a little run up and then it pulled back and then it went sideways for quite a while And the big run-up didn't happen until like 12 to 18 months after the halving. So significantly after the halving was when the big run-up happened. And, of course, it culminated in December or so of 2017. Hit its all-time high. So, yeah, that's the way that worked. So that was the year after the halving. So if it does the same thing, we won't be seeing a big run-up until next year, okay, until 2021. Let's see. Auto spell correction. Yes, that's a pain in the neck. Fisto Bozer, Craig, I went to GS Beverly Hills to check out the 002. Seriously beautiful watch. One thing you don't talk about is the perfectly blued second hands. Oh, yeah. You can't even really see that in photography. You can't see it until you see it in person. It's very difficult to, by the way, there's the live chart on Bitcoin. It's very, very difficult to see that stunning blued second hand. See, you can't even see it in that picture, right? You see it there a little bit. The light's hitting it a little bit, but it has to be seen in person. There's just not even a close. There's no way to really capture the stunning elegance of that watch until you see it in person, in my opinion, because you got to see the second hand also smoothing around that dial, just doing its thing around that dial. You got to see it in action. You really do. In person. Not a video won't even do it justice. So, but what was your overall impression, Fisto? What was your overall impression of the watch? Do you think I'm exaggerating when I say it could be the most beautiful and elegant dress watch ever made for mankind? Do you think I'm exaggerating when I say that? The Applegate Experience says, good evening from a place I call Shangri-La. There you go. Absolutely. Briefit Dance says, Bitcoin is always appreciated. There you go. When did you go to GS Beverly Hills, says Blue. No, Chip Wong was having an emergency in the lab with the Craig clones. They were running amok with many segues. There you go. Yesterday, Blue, okay, LOL. Stig, okay, Stig is communicating with the lovely Lady Brianna. And Kyle says, hey guys, there you go. And Cheetown says, I wish GS would take advantage of the discontinued Oyster Petrol 39 and make Snowflake with an adjustable clasp and 39 millimeters. That would be a good move on their part. It sure would. And make it thinner. Please, please make it thinner. Fellas in the house, Craig, did Rich Buddy prove you wrong? He owns a Hulk. Well, if he sells it for a big profit, that's a good move. But I don't know that that would prove me wrong. I mean, I've never said that people can't sometimes make money on a watch. I mean, you can sometimes make money on a car. If you buy the car right and you sell it right, I mean, you can make money. That's flipping. That's buying and selling. That's really not what I would call an investment. An investment is where you park your money for a long term and you get, growth over time. If you buy a watch below market value and then you're able to sell it above, if you buy it under and you sell it at or above, right, and that margin that you make, that's really from an effort of buying and selling. Just like if you flip a home, if you buy a home and maybe do a little work to it, maybe you don't, maybe you just buy it right, and then you are able to flip it and make a profit, that's not really a long-term investment. That's really more speculating and wheeling and dealing, and that's fine. If people can do that with watches successfully, and there are people that do that know the market, but it's not the normal situation. Most people aren't able to do that and don't have the opportunity to do that. And so it's not for the average person out there, in my opinion. In my opinion, the average person should just buy a watch to wear and enjoy and leave the flipping of watches to the professionals. I think that's probably the most prudent way forward. Let's see. Blue says, hi, Fisto. I almost went there, didn't have time. And by the way, buying and selling and flipping like altcoins and trading Bitcoin, on margin, leverage, all that kind of thing. And that also is best left to the professionals, because most of the professionals, they'll fleece the money from the amateurs. That's how it works. The money transfers from the amateurs to the professionals. And there are a relatively small number of the pros compared to there's a large number of the amateurs. Same thing probably happens in the watch community, right? The money flows from the amateurs to the pros. The right way to fly, okay, BRU, okay. Let's see. I think we're caught up. Unfortunately, the AI tech in today's market is frowned upon. Okay. Didn't have time. Would have been. Okay. All right. We are caught up for once. That doesn't happen very often that I'm caught up. Okay, let me show the lovely Lady Brianna's website while we're waiting, right? Let me just show the lovely Lady Bree's website. Whoa. Got a bikini pic. Got lucky there. Luck of the draw. And there's briefitdance.com, briefitdance.com. There are all kinds of links there of ways that you can show your support and send her some Bitcoin. You can sign up as a Patreon. You can send her some money with your Cash App. A whole bunch of ways you can donate to the lovely Lady Bree so that she can continue to create content and work to entertain. Let's see. Craig, what are your thoughts on those new colorful ostrich watches? I'm not a big fan of them. I think that type of thing is a little bit... I think even if you like the color initially, it might get kind of old. And so I tend to like a more conservative dial color. Like, for example, I love the snowflake dial on the 002. It just looks really fantastic, especially when you get it out in the light. It looks really fantastic. So, yeah, I'm a little more conservative when it comes to dials, and I'm not so sure that I would want the green dial for a diver's watch. Again, I think I'd probably rather just have the standard black bezel and black dial. I mean, I would take the green, right? But I certainly wouldn't pay a huge premium for it. So I don't know. And that's an attractive looking green, right? That's not a wild looking color. So as far as the wild looking colors, I don't think they would be my cup of tea. Let's see here. Fisto says, I don't know how to describe the 002's beautiful. It was serene to look at, like a sunrise over a lake. Okay. Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Craig, it is 112 Fahrenheit in Los Angeles today. Whoa. Back up. That's bad. That's hot. How hot can it get? How hot is it? Let's see here. I just came back from stocking up on lemonade and popsicles. I don't blame you. Whoa. That's it. You want to make sure that you've got the air conditioning system serviced up, right? And in good operating order. It has been nice here. It hasn't been overly hot. And really the entire summer, we haven't had that many sweltering days. I cannot complain. Applegate Experience 24K is out of most ranges for the everyday type of buyers. 42 degrees Celsius. Okay. All right. There you go. Kyle's in the house. Where's Kent these days? I'm going to have to talk to Kent and see if we can get him to Skype in. He should have his setup. He should have everything set up by now. He was trying to get a new setup operational, and he should be ready to go. So I'm going to reach out to Kent and see if he can, and we'll get him in the studio here too. We'll get him in the studio. One of these days we'll do that. Cheetown, bad day to go golfing in Palm Springs, 115. And Kyle says we could use some live music on this hot day. There you go. Carlos Buserv is winning today, a wild card to be saved of being de-wrenched for hard trolling in the future. Okay, he gets a wild card. He gets he can get a free pass, right? Do not go to jail. A do not go to jail card. Get out of jail free card. That's what it is. Yeah. Okay. Tim says, honestly, I can't stand the green on a watch unless you are Irish and celebrating St. Patrick's Day. So yeah, that wouldn't be a good if you're a good expense if you're just going to wear it one day out of the year. Yeah, that would be probably not a good move. And if I wanted green, I'd get a date 8 with the green dial. That's what I would get. For that kind of money, you could probably buy a date 8 with a green dial. We haven't seen Heidner Hair of Lance. He's probably trying to find a pair of Lucchese's like this with the ostrich on the bottom and the ostrich shaft. And he just can't find them. He just can't find them. Sometimes we like to have something that's pretty exotic and pretty rare and pretty hard to find. And that describes the lovely Lady Brianna all the way around, right? Pretty exotic, rare, hard to find. So she should have a pair of boots that meet that description as well. High quality, stylish, long-lasting, all of those things. Let's see, Cheetown, California shut down a lot of their natural gas and nuke plants, so we don't have enough electricity. We are expecting rolling blackouts here. Oh my goodness. That's the problem, right? You have a really hot day, and then that's when they choose to shut off your electricity. That's not good. I bet people are buying generators, right? Backup generators. I bet you that's a thing. The Applegate Experience says decentralized energy, LP. The Applegate Experience, they're like all over all of these like alternative uses for blockchain technology and all these different wild altcoins and all these different projects and stuff. And the problem is there's no incentive to have a decentralized blockchain to use for anything but Bitcoin. Only Bitcoin has enough money involved in the mining to make it worthwhile for the miners to want to mine it, and for enough of them to want to do it, right, all around the world. There's enough incentive there because of the value of the Bitcoin, and so there's all the reason for them to mine it and to maintain the security of the network. You don't have that with any of the altcoins, because there's no incentive, because they're not worth anything, and they're not going to be worth anything in the future. And so who would want to mine them, right? And then they come up with other ways around that, right? To get away from proof of work, right? And the highly energy intense way that Bitcoin is secured. They try to get around that and figure out ways to do it that don't require the use of a lot of expensive energy, right? And the problem is none of those work, because if you don't have the requirement of a lot of energy, you can't properly secure it. And so a lot of them end up centralized, and a lot of them have centralized points of failure, and a lot of them are just outright scams. The blockchain technology was really invented to be used with Bitcoin. The whole purpose of it is Bitcoin. And if you don't have that valuable token, if you don't have that Bitcoin that's valuable enough to incentivize the miners to keep mining it and keep securing the network, if you don't have that, you're not going to be able to sustain the a large network, and so it's just not going to work. So that's why all of these altcoin projects fail, and they will always fail, because there's no reason to be decentralized. If you're going to have just a ledger somewhere, right, just have a ledger. You don't need a blockchain. You don't need an expensive blockchain using a lot of electricity all over the world if you're just centralized, right? There's no need for that. So there you go. And of course, Ethereum's trying a whole new way with proof of stake and all that, and that's a whole cluster, you know what, and that's been a total disaster. So that whole thing is a house of cards as well. So there you go, folks. That's why you want to stay away from the altcoins. Just get Bitcoin and hold it. And don't try to trade, because timing the market is also a fool's errand. The professionals will take your Bitcoin. Tim's in the house. Lance could be stuck on the golf course still putting the ball. He was in the chat earlier. Fisto's in the house. I went on a research trip to the Panerai AD yesterday to see whether I prefer the radio mirror or lunar mirror case design. I still can't decide. Sent you comparison photos. Okay, we'll take a look. Something tells me Nancy Pelosi, Gavin Newsom, and other corrupt California politicians won't have to worry about blackouts. No. They'll have their own private generators and stuff, and yeah, they'll be fine. The Applegate experienced liquidity pools within Cali regions experiencing blackouts. There you go. Lance says, sent a link to full quill ostrich boots. Okay, we'll take a look. Lance says thinks he's met the challenge. We'll take a look and see if he has. All right, let's catch up on these emails real quick, because the chat is coming fast and furious now. Having trouble keeping up. Okay, let's look at this comparison first. All right, here's one. See, I don't like that case design. I don't like that wire for the strap, the way that is. I just think it looks kind of goofy. And I don't like the square case. Yeah, and I hate that one. That one's even worse, where the lugs look like they're just kind of stuck on there, and with that funky thing on the side. Yeah, I would pass on both. 2 thumbs down on the Panerai. Hold on that whole situation. I don't wear ugly watches, so I would have no interest in either one of those. All right, let's look at the Lucchese's here. Let's look at the Lucchese's. Okay, see, the same problem. Same problem. I believe these are not. I believe these are not ostrich on the top. This part here is probably calf. Let's see if it says here. Oh, for crying out loud. All this crap popping up. I don't do that on any of my websites, by the way. Okay, where does it say? Boot made from full quill ostrich leather, smooth leather lining, cushion. See, it doesn't say what this shaft is made of. But just looking at it, I can tell. See, full quill, you can tell the bumps. See the bumps? That's the full quill ostrich. And that's the vamp, that lower part. This part up here, it doesn't have enough texture to be ostrich. See, if you have smooth ostrich on the top, it's going to have a lot of texture to it. And this doesn't have that. This is not. And also, it would be a lot more money than that, by the way. A lot more than $645. So that's a giveaway also. So not yet, Lance. You haven't found them yet. Okay, let's see what else we got here. T-Town says, at Fisto Bowser, they are too important and rich to suffer with the constituents. That's correct. I'm sure Pelosi has a generator for her ice creams. That's right. Her high-end, like Sub-Zero refrigerator. Tim's in the house. Lance, who won your golf game? And Fisto is laughing at what Carlos says. Get Hogan on the line. Lance, Tim McDonald played with my friend on Friday. I beat him by 2 points. There you go. Lance is a winner. That's the way that works. Stig's in the house. I wonder, with all this excitement spread to the Black Submariner, will all this excitement spread to the Black Submariner and affect the prices as well? I have no intention of paying $75,000 for any steel watch. Well, they say that the black ones are going up already. They say that's already happening. I think this is the time to sell. Sell, sell, sell. Carlos is in the house. She needs a mini electric plant just for the refrigerators and the hair dryer. Oh, no. Fisto's in the house. I like the beach and all, but I miss doing laps at the local community college Olympic-style pool. It's been closed since March. Oh, jeez, that's terrible. Cheetown says, Craig, do you think it's possible for an electromagnetic pulse nuke to completely devalue Bitcoin due to flying electrical components? Well, here's the thing. If you had something significant enough to basically destroy the entire internet, I think we'd have a lot more problems to worry about than how it affected Bitcoin. I think, it could be the end times, right? It could get bad real fast. So, yeah, you definitely want to have plenty of guns and bullets also, in addition to Bitcoin. I think that's called Plan C. Bitcoin is Plan B. Guns and bullets and canned goods are Plan C, and seeds. You also want to have seeds, right? Oh boy, that's terrible. Lance is searching for the perfect watch, and let's see, the Applegate experience. Don't forget about Girl Medell. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what that is. He will be back with picks for Craig. I love the wire lugs. Some people do, but yeah, I mean, I would take that one over the other one. If I had to pick between the two, yeah, I would pick the wire lugs over the other one. The other one's really ugly. One's ugly, the other one's butt ugly. So there you go. Blockchain trade markets support local small business. There you go. And Durr says tuner sucks. Well, duh. Talk about the obvious. Trezor Model T. I have a Trezor wallet. By the way, here's my razor by Timeless Razor. Timeless Razor. This one is stainless steel. I also have the brass. TimelessRazor.com. TimelessRazor.com. I also have the brass, the aluminum, and my favorite is the titanium. I shave with the titanium one all the time. So here's the stainless steel one. The tolerances, the quality of this thing is just amazing. And you want that because when you put that blade in there, you want it to be perfect. You want the gap and everything to be consistent all the way around. You don't want to be cutting yourself because you got a lousy razor, right? This is perfection. Perfecto. Let's see here. Craig, would you rather wear a jumbo maxi sub or Tudor Black Bay 58 with more classical proportions? Fortunately for me, I can wear the Grand Seiko SBGA 231 in titanium, and I can skip both of those. I get to wear the finest dress watch on the planet. Not even a close call. This is much nicer than any other dress watch. Look how it curves to the wrist. Look how it shapes to the wrist. Look how gorgeous that bracelet is. Nothing comes close to the SBGA 231. SBGA 231 stunner in titanium. Spot on accurate. Rugged as all get out. Some nice bling to that bracelet. Holds up to heavy use. This has been more than 2 years of heavy use on this watch. So there you go. Don't baby my watches. Let's see. A lot of frying electrical opponents won't need to send us into war. We have Twitter to take care of that for us. Well, you won't have Twitter after that pulse wipes it all out. Cheetown says, give me a 40 millimeter pre-ceramic time only sub any day. Good move. Good move. They call that a Submariner as opposed to a Submariner date, right? There you go. Cheetown says, Craig, do you use pre-shave oil? I have to, otherwise I get razor bumps. I just use the soap. I've shown before the soap that I use. Well, I can try to show some. Give me a second here. I think I put it in my cart in Amazon. Let me see if I can pull this up. Because I'm going to get some more, I think. Okay. Yeah, here it is. Let me pull this up and I'll show you what I use. I will show you. That's right. This is what I use. Okay, that's exactly it. And before I bought a pack that was an assortment of different, scents, if you will, but I've kind of focused in on the lime. I kind of like the lime the best. So I think the next pack I get is going to be a 4-pack of the lime, as opposed to, now you can get the pack that's an assortment, and then you can try the different scents and see which one you really like. But I like this, and it works for me. Your mileage may vary, but that's what I use. And I do 2 passes. I lather, I soak my face with some warm water several times, and then I lather it with that. And then I shave, and then I rinse again with warm water, and then I lather again and shave again. So I do what's called 2 passes. And I get a nice close shave. Works well for me. Let's see. Blockchain Trade Market says Faraday bags are available for EMP protection. There you go. Well, Bitcoin is also up on satellites too. So that's a help. So Tim's in the house. What if the U.S. dollar, because of increasing debt, continues to devalue and people lose confidence in you? Do you think there's any chance that Bitcoin could replace the dollar? Well, yeah. I think that what happens when you have situations like that, the most sound, hard money is usually what people gravitate to. And that's already happening in some areas where there's been hyperinflation. It's already been adopted at pretty high rates, and so that will only increase. And so as time marches forward, more and more people will discover what Bitcoin's all about and will slowly but surely migrate their value into that, because they want to store their value. All money is a way to store your efforts. Okay, your labor has a certain value. When you contribute to society, it has a certain value. And people want to, if they don't spend that right away, they want to be able to store it in something. That's what a currency is, right? And so obviously they're going to try to store it somewhere where it's as safe as possible and where it will hold its value. And if they determine that the U.S. dollar isn't doing that for them, then yes, they'll look at other things like gold, maybe silver, but Bitcoin has a lot of advantages over those 2 things because it's so portable. It can go anywhere. People can also move anywhere. See, one reason that people don't tend to move, even if they're in a country that's really doing poorly, a lot of the reasons why they don't move is they're kind of stuck there because they have real estate there, they have other things there that aren't easy to move, right? Whereas if they've stored their value in Bitcoin, there's nothing stopping them then, because Bitcoin is totally portable. So they could go anywhere in the world and still have that Bitcoin as long as they know their passphrase, right? They still have access to their Bitcoin. So that's also going to free a lot of people up to be able to be more mobile and to move from areas that are having a lot of issues to areas that might not be as unstable. So there's a lot of things at play here, folks. A lot of things that are going to get very interesting, maybe kind of fast. Maybe interesting, kind of fast. Dur says, yeah, no need to wear a ladies diver like a Black Bay 58 when you can rock a men's size GS. I think this looks good on my wrist. I think you need a decent sized wrist, though, to rock this puppy, but I think it looks good. Let me know what you think. Does this look okay on my wrist right now? Let me know what you think in the chat. Am I delusional? You can let me know. People have said that I'm delusional in the past. Let me know. If you think I'm delusional, tell me. You won't get blocked for that. Let's see. Craig, you said that people were buying up RVs because of stimulus money. Do you think most of these people are leasing? I don't think they're buying it because of stimulus money. I think the RV business is booming because people don't want to fly. And they decided they want to travel by RV. And I think that what's going to happen is in a couple years, a lot of those people will realize that they really don't want to travel by RV and that they made a mistake and that they'll be selling those RVs, especially most of them are pieces of junk in the first place. And so you'll see a lot of used RVs, I think, in a couple of years, because a lot of people do impulse buys, right? They think, oh, hey, honey, wouldn't it be fun to travel by RV, right? And they don't really realize the expense involved in buying the RV in the first place, the expense involved in traveling with it, right? Buying the fuel, paying for the campsites, all of that kind of stuff. And also where are they going to store it, right? It's taking up a bunch of space in their driveway, right? And it's going downhill, it's weathering, and so on and so forth. They don't realize all the downsides to it, right? Until they get into it for a while. And then they realize that they made a stupid decision. And then they try to sell it, and of course they're buried in it. They're upside down. They financed it, and so on and so forth. And the typical consumer behavior is why everybody's broke, is by doing things like that. So that's how that whole thing will probably work out. That's what I'm seeing on that whole RV, the boom in RV sales. And let's see, Cheetown says, I tried shaved with tallow shave stick, but it left my skin dry and rubbery, horrible razor bumps. Now, are you using a timeless razor? Are you using a timeless razor and Astra blades, ASTRA, Astra blades? Maybe it's the razor or the blades that you're using. Do tell. As time marches forward, our storage of value will be inversely proportioned. Okay, there we go. Craig, would you rather move to California or communist China? That's a good question. I think there are parts of California that are pretty decent if you can live off the grid, right? That's what you can do. Go there and live off the grid. Fisto's in the house. Craig, would you? Oh, I already read that one. Cheetown. I bet Bitcoin is a Hong Kong pro-democracy millionaire's best friend right now. Also good if you are a CCP Politburo member and are on Uncle Z's you-know-what list. There's a lot of people that might want to stash some value somewhere that nobody can get to it. You know, their own private Swiss bank account, right? Swiss bank accounts used to be, only the elite, only those with connections could have a Swiss bank account, right? Now, basically, anybody can have one. And actually, in a lot of ways, it's better than a Swiss bank account because now the Swiss can be bought, right? Used to be the Swiss couldn't be bought, but now they can be bought and they can release your information and all that. So you got to go somewhere else, right? Maybe the Cayman Islands or whatever. But now you don't have to do any of that. Bitcoin just gives you your own Swiss bank account. Okay, Lance says, Craig, if you bought a vintage dive watch, would you baby it or wear it as a heavy use watch? Well, I would only buy a watch to wear. So if I bought a vintage dive watch, which I probably wouldn't because it probably would be, not as rugged as a more modern watch. But if I did, let's say I bought a red sub in mint condition or something for some reason, right? I stumbled across it or whatever, and it was my only watch. Yeah, heck yeah, I'd wear it. Heck yeah, I'd wear it. I only buy watches to wear. So I'm not a watch collector. I'm a watch user. Cheetown's in the house. Everyone wants an RV until it's time to flush out the crapper tank. There you go. Yep. Applegate Management. Beckley's is a great local small business, excellent service staff, and RV selection. There you go. Carlos says, would you recommend to rent an RV to be a week around the Appalachians? Well, I mean, if I rented an RV, I would certainly have a plan of the places that I'm going to go. I love to travel I buy a motor coach. I wouldn't fool with an RV. They're kind of junk, but I loved to travel by motor coach. It was very enjoyable for me, and I did it a lot, and I kind of miss my motor coach now, but I'm going to get another one. I like to travel that way because I like to be able to bring all my gear with me, and I don't like to have like if you fly somewhere, that's a total pain in the you know what. Staying in hotels, I don't like to stay in some other bed. I don't like to sleep in some bed that a million other people have slept in. I don't care if they've changed the sheets or whatever. I just don't like that whole situation. So I like to basically have my own place and and have all my stuff with me and be able to stay as long as I want and then move on when I want at my schedule and be able to just kind of wing it. I just kind of like that mode of travel. But it's definitely not for everyone, and I wouldn't recommend a plastic RV. I think most of them are pretty much junk. So there you go. Cheetown says, nope, I'm using a German Merkur slant bar razor with fresh Astra blades, as close and sharp of a shave as I can get. Okay. You might want to get a timeless razor and give it a try. I think you're going to have much better luck because of the way everything's finished on it and so on. Especially well, I've had great luck with the stainless steel, the aluminum, and the titanium. I would recommend titanium. Now, it's a little pricier, but the polished titanium is fantastic. If you don't want to go polished titanium, I would probably go with the aluminum. It's much cheaper, and I think you also would get a good shave with that. But the polished titanium is super smooth on the skin and just really works great. So, yeah, that's what I would do. Applegate Management says the new Fold app may be the next elite Swiss wallet in your pocket. Ease of use, convenient. Okay, there you go. There's a wallet suggestion for you. Fisto says, Craig, have you ever had a beard? No, I did have a mustache for a short period of time. When I grow out the hair, it gets like itchy. Now, maybe if I let it keep coming out until it was finally like a real beard, maybe it would be okay. But I've never let it go that far, so yeah, it hasn't been a thing. I'm not a big fan of a bunch of facial hair and stuff. I don't think it's a positive thing. Let's see. Craig, have you tried titanium with feather blades? No, I have not tried the feather blades. I've been kind of scared of the feather blades because people talk about how sharp they are and how you're more likely to get cuts with them. So I've stayed with the Astra. The Astra blades seem to work really well for me, so I've kind of just stuck with them. I actually bought a bunch more of them, so I'm kind of in that camp for a while. Let's see. VR Eyes, Vision, smartwatches may change the future of accessibility. Any opinions on these? Well, the Apple Watch is amazing. The Apple Watch is amazing. I had an Apple Watch. I still have it. I wore one for a couple years. The Apple Watch is amazing. Lance sent a link to a stunning vintage Daytona. Let's look at that. And we're coming up on an hour. This is the fastest hour in broadcasting, I say. The fastest hour in broadcasting. This show moves along, folks. You got to pay attention because it moves along. Oh, geez. Whoa. Talk about pricey. Whoa. This is something. This is in Carlos's price range. Whoa. Back up, people. Whoa. $185,000. At least it's gold, for gosh sakes. Can you imagine it being that price and being steel? It is a stunner. It is a stunner. People say, oh, it's got a stamped clasp. And hollow end links, it looks like. So, yeah, there you go. $185,000. Buy it now. $300 shipping. Not for the faint of heart. Whoa. Out of my price range, I will say, even if I liked the watch, which I don't particularly, that would be out of my price range. Let's see. Cheetown says feather blades are indeed very sharp, but they are very smooth. You won't even feel them cutting until after they do. Yeah, you probably won't feel them cutting your skin either, right? Oh boy, a little scary. Blockchain Bandits Daytona 95. I might try feather blades at some point. I might buy a small little sample pack and try them just to see. But I've just been a little bit scared of them. And like I say, I have good results with the ones I have. So Blockchain Bandit says Daytona 959 Lightning Yellow was a great ride. Okay, there you go. Carlos says OMG. Daytona 765 is hot, says Visto. Okay, there you go. Let's see. And that's the reference 6263. Reference 6263, circa 1982. Well, if they can get anywhere near that kind of money, they're doing good. And that watch is in Beverly Hills, California. Beverly Hills, California. And Blockchain Bandit says, we miss Radio Shack. Radio Shack. Are they all closed or are any of them still open? Are they all gone? Every single one of them? By the way, we're going to wrap this puppy up here shortly. So get your questions in, get your last minute questions in before we wrap this puppy up. What we were talking about in the beginning of the show was the Hulk. The Hulk. Are they selling for this kind of money? Is this just a ridiculous asking price, or are they going crazy? Are people paying almost $25,000 for a steel Rolex? What do you think? What do you think? Is that what's happening? Let's see. If it were any other brand, it'd be a 17K watch. This Visto Bowser. There you go. Yep, stir. Well, there you go. Yes, people are going crazy talk. Well, hey, here's the thing. Is it the watches that are going up, or is it the value of the dollar that's going down? Right? That's another question. Are the dollars being devalued even as we speak? Is the purchasing power of the dollar eroding away? Is that happening? All I know is that 002 keeps marching along. That second hand does not slow down, does not speed up. It's just right on the money, just smoothing right around the dial, doing its thing perpetually, and much, much more accurate than any Rolex drive, right? Any Rolex movement. Let's see. Testing out the AC on my old Toyota. Yep, it's working. I'll tell you, the AC on my 2004 Prius still works great, and it's never been serviced. It's never had any refrigerant added or anything. Now, it's electric. The compressor on that is electric. It's not belt-driven. So it's kind of a whole different thing. Fisto's in the house. Craig, what's your winding routine for the 002? I wind it after every show. And so whether I'm wearing it on wrist or not, if I'm wearing it during the show, I'll take it off and I'll wind it then. Like now I have it on the bench, on the camera. When I go over and I shut off the camera after the show wraps, I will take the watch and I'll wind it and I'll set it down on the microfiber cloth and put another microfiber cloth over it if I'm not wearing it. So anytime I'm not wearing it, it's setting on a microfiber cloth with another microfiber cloth covering it. And then when I'm wearing it, I pick it up and wear it. And then when I finish wearing it, before I put it back down again, I wind it. So I wind it every time before I put it down, to rest. And since I wear it at least every day, sometime every day, it always basically gets wound every day. So, occasionally I might skip a day. I might not wear it for a day for some reason. But you know, the next day I'll wear it, and then again when I set it down, I'll wind it, fully wind it. And since it has a 72-hour power reserve, it has never stopped. So that has worked out. Errant Endeavors says Lightspeed, Blue Team. Fisto Browser says Craig. Okay, I read that. Lance says, is the 002 your first hand wind watch? Yes. Well, no, I think I might have had like one other old watch. I don't even remember what it was. I mean, I might have had one watch, but it's clearly the only watch that I wear a lot that is manual wind. And I don't mind it. I think it's kind of fun. I don't mind winding it. Like I say, I've gotten in the habit of whenever I put it down, winding it before I put it down. Craig, do you have a cleaning lady? No, I don't. And that's for security reasons. I have a lot of valuable things here at the estate, and I don't like to have any hired help around that can possibly be a security risk. I do have groundskeepers and so forth, but they don't come inside the building. So this is a highly secure location. And even when Brianna comes to visit, I mean, it takes her about an hour to get through security. So it's not easy to get to here in the first place. So yeah, we take security very seriously here at the complex. Let's see, Craig, would you prefer 002 automatic if it would be the same thickness? Why not? I don't see that there would be a downside. Yeah. If it would be the same thickness, I think that'd be fine. Yeah. I don't see a downside. Rotor would block the view of the movement. Yeah, but you don't really see that much of the movement on this watch. You see like the rotor, you see certain things, and to me that's not that big a deal because again, it's usually on my wrist where I can't see it anyway. And the rotor would probably be really cool looking, right? Probably be 18 karat gold, so it'd be really cool looking, so that would be kind of cool. So yeah, I would definitely say if it could be the same thickness, why not? Absolutely. And if they could add a screw down crown, that would be super cool. Yeah, why not? Okay, all right, we're going to wrap this puppy up at 6:01 p.m. Let's show the lovely Lady Breeze website while we do it. Actually, we're going to show hers briefly, and then I'm going to show the 002 while I do it because I need to use the same computer to wrap it up. So I'll just show you her brieffitdance.com URL here briefly, and then I will wrap this puppy up. And Carlos says, we found a way to improve the 002. I was not expecting that. Well, I mean, we've talked before about the perfect watch. Can you imagine the 002, an automatic with a screw-down crown, with an all-gold bracelet, with micro adjustments? I mean, yeah, there's always ways to improve. And then you'd have an all-arounder, right? Then it would have morphed from a dress watch, primarily dress watch, to an all-arounder. So that would not be a terrible thing, I say. All right, folks, thank you for tuning in. Please click subscribe and click the little bell so that you get notifications.